The part of you that dies when you ignore what you love. Zen story, the two souls. I'll do what I truly love later. Right now, I need stability. This life may not make me happy, but at least it feels safe. And slowly, without realizing it, something inside begins going silent. Not your body, not your intelligence, but the part of you that once felt alive. Imagine this. Long ago, in a quiet village surrounded by rivers and rice fields, a farmer had a beautiful daughter. From childhood, she shared a deep bond with a young man from the same village. They grew up side by side, working together beneath the sun, laughing beside the riverbanks, dreaming beneath quiet evening skies. And whenever the elder saw them, they would smile and jokingly say, "One day, these two will surely marry." The words were spoken casually, but young hearts listened differently, and over time, friendship quietly became love. But the farmer had other plans. One evening, he announced that his daughter would marry another man. The young man felt shattered, not angry, not dramatic, just deeply broken. The kind of heartbreak that silently removes meaning from the world. And unable to bear the pain, he left the village before sunrise. Days later, as he traveled alone along a river path, he suddenly heard soft footsteps behind him. To his astonishment, the young woman stood there, breathing heavily, eyes filled with fear and certainty. She had left everything behind to follow him. Together, they traveled far away to a distant town. There, they built a simple life together. They married, had 2 children. And for the first time in his life, the young man felt fully alive. Not successful, not wealthy, just deeply alive. But quietly, something inside the young woman still ached. Sometimes she would sit silently for hours, staring into the distance, as if part of her remained somewhere else entirely. Seeing this, the young man finally decided, it is time to return home. Not to argue, not to prove anything, only to seek forgiveness. When they arrived at the village, he asked her to wait outside while he entered the house alone. The old farmer opened the door. The young man bowed deeply, and with humility asked forgiveness for taking his daughter away all those years ago. But the farmer stared at him in confusion, then fear, then shock. "What are you saying?" he whispered. "My daughter never left." The young man froze. The farmer slowly led him inside the house, and there, lying weak and motionless in bed, was the young woman, pale, silent, as if life itself had slowly faded from her long ago. The farmer explained, ever since the young man disappeared years earlier, his daughter had fallen into a strange illness. She remained alive, but never truly awake, neither fully living nor fully gone. The young man stood trembling, unable to understand what he was seeing. He rushed outside, brought the young woman into the house, and as she entered the room, something impossible happened. The woman lying silently in bed slowly opened her eyes, rose gently, walked toward her other self, and before everyone's eyes, the two became one. And maybe this is where the real story begins, because later, a Zen master asked a haunting question. Which was the true soul? The woman who stayed behind, safe but lifeless? Or the woman who risked everything and truly lived? And perhaps the same division exists quietly inside many humans today. One version of you wakes up every morning, goes to work, smiles politely, follows expectations, survives. But another version, a quieter version, still waits somewhere inside you, the artist, the writer, the musician, the teacher, the traveler, the self that once wanted to feel deeply alive before life ended. And when humans continuously ignore that part of themselves, something slowly disconnects internally, not immediately, not dramatically, just quietly. Some people stay in careers they secretly hate for 20 years because leaving feels too risky. Some become the version their parents wanted, while their real self slowly disappears underneath obligation. Some achieve money, status, recognition, yet still feel strangely empty at night, because survival alone does not fully nourish the human spirit. The body may continue living, but the deeper self slowly falls asleep, and over time, people begin confusing emotional numbness with adulthood. They say, "This is just life." But often, it is not life. It is disconnection. Now, this does not mean every person should abandon responsibility impulsively. Not every dream must become a profession. Not every passion must become dramatic rebellion. But humans do need spaces where the soul feels awake again. Sometimes healing begins very simply. Playing music again after years, writing quietly at night, walking near trees without rushing, painting badly without caring about perfection, cooking slowly for loved ones, watching rain without checking notifications, visiting places that make the heart feel spacious again, talking honestly with someone trusted, sitting silently beneath the evening sky. Small moments, but deeply alive moments. Because what the soul often needs is not constant achievement, but reconnection. The woman who stayed behind survived, but the woman who followed love truly lived. And perhaps the greatest tragedy in human life is not failure, but reaching the end of life, while the deepest part of you remained asleep the entire time. Stop scrolling. Start living.